and then I'll be ready. Hi, Facebook and YouTube. I'm back. IG, thanks for hanging in there with me. If you're on and hanging in there with me, I appreciate you guys. All right, now it's showing correctly. All right. And the only thing I need to do is share here. And I don't want to try to do even more things at one time. So that's why I'm just kind of chilling and not asking any questions or anything. Some people can be doing multiple things and asking questions and engaging in conversations. I'm going to get there though. I'm going to be able to do that one day. But I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. That's on IG. That's hanging in there with me with the technical difficulties that I'm having. All right. There we go with that. Make sure my volume is up here. And for those that's coming on and saying, why did you do all that before? I did. And then I got disconnected from something. So unfortunately, things do not always work out as we would like all the time. But either you're going to adapt to the change and adjust and do what you need to do and still handle your business, or you'll let it have you discombobulated. I choose not to let it have me discombobulated. So, all right. Here we go. And I got this big Kool-Aid smile going on this thing here. All right. Welcome, guys. All right. I don't know who's on. I don't know. I can't see who's on, which is fine. But I wanted to check in. For those of you who do not know me, I am Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions. I offer a full service, 100% virtual tax and accounting firm that we provide. Right now, we're in the midst of tax season, but we are actually up and actively helping business owners get registered with their state. So we're helping business owners get started in business, tax preparation, be it that you have a partnership, S Corp, C Corp, whatever it is, we can help you get that taken care of. Soon to come, we will have credit repair, and that will be actually a different company. However, it is coming, and capital funding, which means that we'll help you be able to obtain business credit. Of course, you wanna start your business with OPM, other people's money. You don't always have to start your business with your money. There's grants and stuff out there as well. So plenty of opportunities, but we provide tax planning, bookkeeping cleanup. We are in the middle of tax season. So of course, what I want you to make sure for my business owners that your books are clean. They're looking good and they are ready to go, so that those numbers that we're pulling in are accurate numbers for you to pay no more than your fair share of taxes. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit tonight as well, in the fact of what your Bill of Rights are. Also, for this tax season, we're in the full swing of things. Unfortunately, I had to divert a little bit due to the loss of my father. So we got him buried and funeralized him last Friday. It's something being the oldest. You have responsibilities that you don't sign up for. However, it has been taken care of. For those who know me, I'm okay. I'm okay. God's will has been done, and he's got it all in control. He knows what, when, and why. So I choose not to question anything that has taken place. However, it did come on the brink of tax season. So it pushed me a little bit behind in what my anticipated plans were. So for my current clients, I thank you. I cannot say thank you enough for your loyalty and your commitment, and your and even my other clients, just for really hanging in there with me, because you could have easily said, oh, I'll just go somewhere else, get it taken care of. I want my money back real quick. And as I continue to try to work through everything that was going on, you've really hung in there with me, and I appreciate you all for that. For those who are not current clients and you're wondering how to become a client of Bryant Business Solutions, the link is below. It is calendly.com/BB Solutions 3 tax on board. And you don't even have to have a consultation if you know exactly, what it is that you need to upload. You'll then receive a welcome email that gives you step-by-step instructions with links and your tax organizer. So you'll have access to everything right there. So there's nowhere for you to go, nothing else for you to do. Everything is right there. And if there's any questions we have, or if any questions that you have, by all means, you're always welcome to schedule an appointment. And I will put that in the description link once this broadcast has completed. So let's get started for Tax Talk Tuesday. Now, I'm not getting any suggestions on what you guys want to talk about, so I'm just coming up with the topics myself. If you're enjoying the topics, by all means, let me know. But if there's something that you want me to discuss, hey, have at it. Send me a message. Let me know there's something that you want me to touch on or something you want a little bit more information on. And I will be more than happy to, if research is needed, do some additional research on that. If not, then I'll be glad to cover any of that information for you guys. Okay. So first things first, Bryant Business Solutions. And I like to talk about this stuff just so people know how our mode of operations are. If you have questions throughout this tax season, make sure that you are sending your emails to help@bbs3llc.info. You are also welcome to send a text message to 213-282-2775. And whoever, whatever admin or tax preparer is manning the phones at that time will be able to get those questions answered for you. Again, I will not be responding to text messages to my personal line. What I will be doing is redirecting you to one of those resources. We want to allow those individuals who are working very hard to be able to answer your questions and get you help, your answers to you during this tax season as I work on operations and other things and don't have to stop necessarily to do that because we have people in place to get those questions answered for you. Next, when you get your welcome email, Bryant Business Solutions clients, when you get your welcome email, make sure that you're going through each of the bullet points and you are either filling out the document, signing the tax engagement, you are completing your tax organizer. We will not start returns without that completed tax organizer. Why? Again, audits will increase this year. I have to have my I's dotted and T's crossed, just as I want you to have your I's dotted and T's crossed. So we will not be starting any tax return. We have a verification process in place prior to that will happen as soon as we get getting your information in. We verify the documents that you sent in and we make sure that we have everything that we need to get started on your return. Because the other thing is we want to operate as efficiently as possible. So we don't want to be in and out, in and out, in and out of your return. We want to get everything that we need, be sure that we have it on the front end. And if anyone knows me, I am a big front ender. So I make sure all the kinks are worked out on the front end as much as possible. I try to take care of those things on the front end so that the process itself will be smooth for either my tax preparers, my admin, or myself. Okay. So make sure when you get your welcome email, you are looking at the bullet points. You are checking off. If there's a link there, it is highlighted in a different color. Don't quote me on the color because the program that I'm using is doing its own thing sometimes. So I try to have it in my brand colors. But if it does not come across in the brand colors, then I try to make sure, well, it comes across in like this turquoise blue. But if you see links there, click on it. If it says all taxpayers in the instructions, that applies to you because it applies to all taxpayers. So there's certain things that we need to know. We need to know if you got PPP funds. If so, how much? These are things that we have to enter into the system this year. There's a lot of changes that's happening. And I don't know, I don't even look to find out if TurboTax has you do all of this or not, because I don't work for TurboTax any longer. I did for a brief period in offering tax preparation support, but I do not work for TurboTax. So I don't know what the do-it-yourself programs are asking for or requiring. I can only tell you what we are required to do and what we get penalized for. For example, earned income credit due diligence. We get hit hard as tax professionals if something is missing. So we want to make sure that that we're adhering to the due diligence guidelines. Got a question. What is the date the businesses have to have their taxes done? Is the date March 15th? As of right now, the date is still March 15th. Businesses, what do you mean by that? Partnerships. Um, Partnerships, those who are S corps, C corps, those business owners, you want to make sure those returns are done by March 5th, completed by March 15th. Now, what if you are a partnership? Let's use that as an example, and you have to get your personal taxes done as well. Well, you want to make sure that 1065, 1120, 1120S, the partnership or the corporation returns, you want to make sure those are done by March 15th. And then you still have another month as of right now to get your personal taxes done, which is your 1040 that may have either the attachment of a Schedule E or a Schedule C. Now, if you are an LLC and you just use a Schedule C that's attached to your 1040, then you have until March 15th as of right now. I'm hoping, I know my sisters and brothers in craft are probably going to shun me for this, but I'm hoping they extend the tax season for everyone just to give us more time because it got extended for when it began. I don't believe the time that we have allotted at this point is enough time to do what we need to do and make sure you guys are taken care of, as well as the fact that there's so many other nuances that have been factored in now with COVID happening. So I want to make sure that I just want to make sure that we got everything for you all. I want to make sure we have time to do that. I want to make sure you have time to do what you need to do. So again, right now, the business tax return deadline is March 15th, and the personal tax return deadline is April 15th. Okay. With that being said, there has been, though, a change as a result of the disaster that's taking place still in Texas. And my prayers go out to the entire state of Texas. But the IRS has extended the April 15th deadline and any other upcoming deadlines to provide some type of relief for the victims of the Texas winter storms. So for Texas residents at this point only, that deadline has been extended to June 15th. Okay. So individual business tax returns, tax payments, the Internal Revenue Service has announced today that, yes, I got you. The Internal Revenue Services actually announced today that they will be extending that deadline for them, crossing our fingers that they'll be extending the deadline for us as well. Even our business owners, because March 15th, like giving you guys 1 month to make sure everything is in, that's a tough deadline. So the tax relief right now, though, has not extended it nationwide, but it is extended to those Texas residents. Okay. And this applies to your quarterly payments as well. So make sure that you're aware that you do have an extension if you are in the state of Texas. Of course, if I see any changes, if I have to hop on live to make sure that I give you that information, I will do that. Of course, I always try to put things out there to read, but sometimes those things get missed. And it's easier also sometimes to, as we're working, turn on someone's live, or right now the Clubhouse platform. It's easier to turn those things on and just kind of listen in, versus trying to read everything or scroll Facebook. I know how easy it is right now to be able to listen. So keep that in mind. That deadline has been extended. PPP, all right? So there has been some revamps to the PPP that are in place to benefit small business owners. And those changes are to take effect on Wednesday, okay? So what are those changes? It makes it a little bit easier now to qualify. And right now, firms that make up less than 20 employees is about 98% of small businesses. And so all of this money, there's still a lot of money out there that has not been dispersed, as well as the fact that, Biden is right now, the Biden-Harris administration is really trying to push for additional funding to be put out there. So what they're proposing right now is 5 changes. So one is they want a 2-week application period just for small business owners. So that would be a benefit. Right now, these particular changes are not in play. But if you're a small business owner, the Paycheck Protection Program is making changes. But these are the changes that they're proposing at this point, okay? They're proposing more help for sole proprietors, independent contractors, those self-employed individuals. They're wanting to change the calculations some on exactly how those numbers come into play and exactly what percentage of your gross income, adjusted gross income, or even your net income. Because remember when the PPP first rolled out, they were looking at line 31, which was either your net profit or net loss. They're wanting to also reduce the barriers for former felons. People are, trying to get their lives back on track. And if they're starting a business, why not give them that opportunity? So PPP Second Chance Act, they're trying to put that into play. They're trying to provide assistance for business owners who are late on student loans. And right now, people are fighting to pay their bills. They're trying to make sure that the bills are paid. So the administration will also increase access to business owners who are currently delinquent or have defaulted within the last 7 years. 7 years, they're proposing on a federal debt, including a student loan. So that's a biggie. I know for a lot of Americans, a lot of times, just like myself, we go to school first and then we figure it out that entrepreneurship is probably a little bit better, and I probably didn't need all that education that I got to do it. However, whatever. But that proposal is there, and then more access for business owners who aren't U.S. citizens. Okay, so what the Biden-Harris administration is looking and hoping that these tweaks and changes will expand on the improvements from the last round of PPPs, which opened a little over a month ago. Through yesterday, though, the program has approved about 1.9 million loans, and that's about $140 billion through various lenders in 2021. However, the program has approved more than $7 billion and 7 billion loans for almost $663 billion. Okay. So the White House is also highlighting these changes, some additional changes, so that businesses with fewer than 10 employees will get their share of funding up to nearly 60%. So they're really, really looking out for the small business owner when it comes to these PPP funds. I know in a lot of cases, people are afraid to apply. They're not wanting to apply. They don't know if it's going to continue to be a loan or if it'll get converted for forgiveness to a grant. I will tell you this, and I say this with no hesitation. If your books are not in order, get your books in order. Go ahead and get them in order. I am still, like I said, I'm going to run it probably through the end of tax season. I'm still running my bookkeeping promo where we're doing cleanups for, I think it's 1997, which is, we know, oh gosh, a tremendous amount off of what it would typically cost you to get a cleanup done. But I just want you to be sure that you have your books in order, as well as the fact that in order to qualify for forgiveness, yes, some forgiveness has happened, but it does not mean that you guys won't be audited on that forgiveness that has happened. again, remember, when they're giving out free money, there's it's got to come back some kind of way. Somebody's got to get hit with a penalty. Something has got to happen. I just don't ever believe in totally free money. However, it can be totally free if you're handling your business properly. Okay. Now, there's a small amount of rural business that have increased their share by nearly 30%. And then the share of funding distributed to community development financial institutions and minority depository institutions is up more than 40%. Okay. So, what do we need to know about the PPP right now? Right now, it's distributed less than half of the funds that's available. Guys, it's still more money out there. So if you have not applied, don't be afraid to apply. Go ahead again, make sure your books are in order, make sure you're keeping those things separated when you get these funds deposited, because there are requirements for how you're spending this money. Okay. Make sure that you're keeping that money separated and exactly what you're spending that money on, you're keeping up with it, which means what? You're doing record keeping, you're keeping your books, you're still doing monthly reconciliations and things of that sort. So make sure you're still continuing to do those things. And if you're not, get with an accountant, get with a bookkeeper, get your books cleaned up. It really it'll be eye opening, to say the least. Eye opening. Thank you so much, Shantavia. And I have a witness to that. It will be eye opening to be able to really see that breakdown of where your money is going and what's happening, especially as it relates to your expenses. A lot of times we think we know where our money is going, but when we really look at our books, and then the other side of it is, if your area of expertise is not accounting, taxes, things of that nature, where you enjoy doing these things, the chances that you will push off monthly reconciliations of your accounts is high. It's high. I do know there are business owners who push it off, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just do it twice a year. I'll do it once a year." Don't do that. Don't get in the habit of doing that. I'm not one to, yeah, I am cracking a whip. I'm cracking a whip. For those people who aren't doing it, I'm cracking a whip. This is your fair warning. However, I come with no judgment. My goal and my objective is always to help you navigate through that process to get your books cleaned up, even if it comes down to you having 5 businesses, 1 account, and you need to get those things broken out. Like I said before, I've been graced with the patience to be able to handle those things and help you get those items broken out so that we can no longer commingle funds. So I help you navigate through that process, and I actually enjoy doing it. I enjoy sharing that information. I enjoy seeing that light bulb go off and you saying, aha, oh, now this makes sense to me. So again, if you need help with your bookkeeping, we're definitely here. My team is available, ready, and willing to help you, as well as the fact that you'll have more accurate numbers. You want your numbers to look right. You want to know where your money really is, and what you really have going on, because we can all assume what we have. It's almost like that personal, but remember, for those, I'm about to tell my age, for those of us who had checkbooks that we had to reconcile those checkbooks. And even when debit cards came out, you swipe your debit card, but you don't necessarily log it in your checkbook, which increases the risk now of you overdrafting because you're swiping, but you're not recording. It increases your chances of things happening that don't have to happen in your business. And if you know for a fact that you're a business owner, that's not your area of expertise, and that's something that you don't like to do, I always say outsource what you don't like, outsource what is not your area of expertise that you can gain more knowledge from. Outsource those things first. I always tell people the first thing that you should outsource, if you're not in the financial arena, is your accounting. What do I recommend for accountants? Outsource your marketing. We tend to get bogged down with it unless that's a minor of ours. We tend to get bogged down with marketing and spending countless hours dealing with marketing when we could be working on some books, So outsource those things first. As soon as you see an opportunity, there are more opportunities than you realize to make payment arrangements or to make multiple payments, that everything doesn't have to be paid at once. So take advantage of that and take it, and just, even if you check around to see what's out there, there are some accounting and tax professionals that don't like window shoppers, so to speak. But then there's some that understands that you gotta understand what fits your budget. Now, I'm not a huge advocate of telling people what they should charge and trying to negotiate their rates. And people know what they're worth. People know what they've put in as far as education is concerned, as far as training is concerned. They know what they've invested in, be it time or money or both. And so I respect when someone tells me what their rates are. Either I can afford them or I can't. And if I still want their services, I just get to a point that I can't afford them. And I make the main thing the main thing. Getting my nails done is not as important as paying for my marketing. And that's me. But we got to be mindful of where we're investing our money. We can't say, oh, I can't afford this, but there's other things that we indulge in that probably could be put to the side, so that it opens the door for us to have more funds available. Because one thing I will say about having accounting and tax services, when you have those services, it allows you to see where your funds are. And it allows you to know, yes, I can buy this piece of equipment. No, I really shouldn't be buying this piece of equipment. These are things that we as accounting professionals, we help you navigate through. So the PPP funds, what it is that we still need to know is one of the questions that's asked, some lingering questions that's being asked. How do we create more access? Right now, like I said, they've distributed less than half of the funds that's available. Okay. So small business owners that need help navigating through the process, you guys a lot of times don't have accountants. You guys don't feel as though you can afford accountants or attorneys to assist you. And even those who that do have a team, and you're still having trouble. Of course, again, you can always kind of shop around. I personally believe, and I'm in a network of accountants and accounting and tax professionals, and I've looked at what the rates are across the board for those of us who are helping people navigate through this PPP debacle. They're pretty affordable. Some are a little higher than others, but and some a little lower than others. But ultimately, there is help out there to navigate through that process. Don't try to go at it alone if you don't feel as though you understand. Don't go at it alone if you don't know your numbers and where they're at. Okay. So get assistance. If that means you have to pay a couple $100 to get that taken care of, do that. Okay. Um, right now there's what's called an American Rescue Plan that again Congress is proposing. And what that rescue plan entails is $1.9 trillion in additional stimulus money. And it's on the table of the stimulus actually getting another round. Okay. It's on the table and it looks like it's probably going to be a go. So again, when you get that money, don't just ball out of control. Use it wisely, okay? Use it to create more income. I'm always going to say that. Use it to generate more income. But they're proposing that another stimulus that's going to give even more support and more funding to the hardest hit businesses, okay? And I apologize, I'm kind of going between those two screens, so I want to make sure that I'm giving eye contact to everyone. But there's just still a lot of questions and a lot of moving pieces. Don't think that you guys don't know, because there's a lot of still unknowns, even throughout Congress, okay? But get with someone who's taking the trainings. I know we've been doing a lot of training and a lot of webinars and things of that nature, paid and unpaid. Most of them are paid, but we're doing a lot of, we're investing in making sure that you guys have the information that you need, okay, when you're coming to us for consulting or for PPP assistance. There's just, like I said, still so many moving pieces. Now, there are new formulas that's going to be out there for sole proprietors and independent contractors. Those are not set in stone at this point. But again, there'll be new formulas for how you calculate how much you're eligible for. So what I'm thinking is there may even at some point be another round for, say, people that got first round PPP funds and then second round. There may be an opportunity for you to get a third round because of how they're now changing how the calculations are completed for PPP funds. So definitely all exciting news. I know I just said a mouthful. All exciting news. Just keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. Make sure that you're reading our posts. Don't get in the habit though of just because something's out there and someone's out there just posting stuff, fact check. Okay. So don't just automatically go and then repost and then now all this false information is out there. Fact check when you see something, even if you like put it in Google, something to see if it's valid information that you've gotten. It's too many resources out there now for us to be able to fact check to make sure that we have accurate information and we're not. I'm starting to see a lot of people who this isn't their area give information regarding starting a business or how to get started and how easy it is, and oh, you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. I'm seeing it. I'm not saying I don't comment. I don't. I'm not a person that goes on somebody else's post and I'm disrespectful. However, I want you guys to make sure that you're empowered. However, make sure you're empowered with giving the correct information. So by all means, share the information as you get it, but make sure it's accurate information that you're sharing. Finally, Taxpayer Bill of Rights. Let's talk about that. So every taxpayer has a right to pay no more than the correct amount of taxes. But what happens is there are cases where you pay more than you should in taxes for various reasons, but you've paid more than what you should. So that would be either in penalties, interest, or things. Have the IRS. You want to make sure that they're applying all your tax payments properly. And there's some cases where there's people that don't file for years. The IRS files on your behalf. Go back and get your taxes filed. If your books aren't done, again, that's going to give you the most accurate numbers to have your books done. So make sure that you have those things done. So what does this mean? You want to file for a refund if you believe you overpaid, okay? Get your tax return amended. If you know that you overpaid or you find some expenses that for whatever reason you didn't account for, file an amendment and get that overpaid money sent back to you, okay? You can write or call the IRS office that sent you a notice or bill if it's saying that you owe and you don't believe that you owe. If you believe that it's incorrect or a notice is incorrect in any way, you have the opportunity. Just when you're challenging information on a bill or notice, you should be ready to provide copies of the records to say, this is why I believe this information is incorrect, okay? If you're correct, the IRS will make the adjustments on your account and send the corrected notice, okay? And I've seen it happen where something, whatever the IRS did or didn't do, and they've made the correction because this person does, in fact, have their documentation. Like I said, amend a tax return if you discover an error, be it that you made a mistake in your filing status, your income, deductions, credits, any of that. Make sure you're getting that amendment filed. I will say amendments can be costly to those who go to someone who did not create that original return. Why? Because we have to now recreate the incorrect return exactly how this person, and we know we don't want to work behind somebody if they've messed up, if they messed something up, not unintentionally or whatever. You want to make sure that you're going to someone who understands exactly what's happening with an amendment. Don't just go to someone just because they do taxes, because someone who does taxes may not necessarily understand the amendment piece of it. But those, like I said, can be costly if you go to someone, because I know from my offices, I don't know about anyone else, you are charged for somewhat most of the initial return plus the amendment fee. Okay. And that's why I always tell people, make sure you have all your documents in. Now, it is a little easier. You'll just pay the difference if you go back to the person or company that originally prepared your return. Now, if it's a company that you no longer want ties with, understand that, there's some additional fees that apply to amendments. Okay. You want to request any amount owed to be removed if it's more than the correct amount due. You want also to request that the IRS remove any interest from that account that's a result of any unreasonable errors or delays on behalf of the IRS if they've made any changes. And then all else fails, submit an offer in compromise, asking the agency to accept less than the full amount of that tax debt. Of course, again, you want to have justification for why you're doing that. If the taxpayer, if you believe that you do not owe all or part of that debt, you want to submit a request for offer in compromise. And there's always, again, accountants, tax professionals that can assist you with that. Does not mean that it's a free service, but it is a service that is provided to assist you with navigating through that process of getting your either refund or getting your offer and compromise submitted to the IRS. Okay. So what have we discussed tonight? I have said a mouthful. We have discussed Bryant Business Solutions, some of the changes that are taking place for my current clients. Make sure you're reviewing your welcome email in its entirety. You're taking the necessary steps to complete what is required of you based on your tax situation. We talked about some extensions in the deadlines and changes with the IRS. For that April 15th deadline, right now, it applies to Texas residents, for the storms, and you guys have until June 15th. Okay. And then we talked about some of the revamps of the PPP, and so that it benefits the smallest business owners. And some of these changes are taking place as early as Wednesday. But there's a lot that's being proposed. So Biden, Harris, they wanted to get these things approved just to make things easier for the small business owner, especially those with less than 20 employees, even under 10 employees, or 10 people. And a lot of times, if you're outsourcing, and that's something else that I didn't say, if you're outsourcing services or if you have subcontractors, you're a one-man show. You do not have employees. You have a contractor. If you have issued a 1099, you do not have employees. Employees mean that you are paying taxes for part of the taxes for someone, and you will be issuing them a W-2 at the end of the year. Okay. So then the final thing that we talked about is your Bill of Rights and ensuring that you're not paying any more than the correct amount of taxes. And then what you can do in the event that happens, that you do end up paying more than your fair share. Okay. All right, guys. So it has been a whirlwind tonight with the technical difficulties. Again, I apologize. Thank you, IG, for hanging in there with me and getting that stuff situated. As always, again, if you want to become a client of Bryant Business Solutions, the link is below. For those that are on Facebook and YouTube, you'll see it just below me right here. We'll have it posted for IG, www.calendly.com/BB Solutions 3/tax on board. Click that link. You automatically get onboarded. Within the next 24 hours, you'll receive a welcome email with instructions step by step. You'll get a secure portal to upload all of your documents to. If you need to speak with me or my team prior to onboarding for tax preparation, I do offer a free 15-minute strategy session, and that link will be below as well. All right, guys, it has been a wonderful Tuesday. I am still busy, very, very busy. However, again, if you have any questions or any topics that you want to discuss or you want me to discuss in the upcoming future weeks as we continue to navigate through tax season, by all means, shoot a message to my inbox. I don't have a problem. DM me, hit me on the DM, send me a message, send an email to our email, and we will be more than happy to add that topic to our discussion in future weeks. All right. Again, I am Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions, signing off for another Tax Talk Tuesday.